Messy Office, where we talk wedding tips and all things wedding. I have not made long form content in a really long time, so I'm gonna misspeak and it's gonna be a mess just like my office. Today we're gonna talk about the Basque wedding dress drama, okay? And I need you all to come into it with an open mind. There is a whole like school of thought on the internet right now talking about how Basque wedding dresses, which are like the quintessential like Disney princess dress where it has that beautiful kind of like waistline, are becoming the new mason jars. Okay. And I just want to say that that is a very aggressive allegation to level at a wedding dress. But I think like what it's talking about is something that I say all the time that I feel like needs to be said over and over and over again if you are planning your wedding. And brace yourself. It's that I don't believe timeless exists. I do not think there is a world in which you will look at wedding design throughout every single one of the decades and not be able to tell like when we think it is. You know what I mean? Do you remember like when people, and maybe you don't because maybe you're a young person, and if you're a young person, please come here and give me your youngness. But do you remember when like in the early 2000s, 2007, 8, 9, 10 even, when everybody was wearing like chevron and we thought we were the freaking coolest people in the world, right? Like we thought that that was a timeless look. We thought that the statement necklace was a timeless look at the time, okay? And you look at it now and you're like, bam, 2010, 2007. You can even see it with like prom dresses. Like I wore the How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days dress, and it was butter yellow. And I talked about this in a reel this week, that I thought that was timeless. I thought that was a timeless look. And you look at it now and you're like, oh my God, 2007. So I just want you to go into wedding dress shopping thinking about what you like in that moment. Because when you look at your wedding dress 10, 15, 20 years from now, 2 years from now, however long it is, when you look back at that moment and you look back at what you were wearing, it is a symbol of who you were at the time, right? It is a symbol of what that moment was at the time. There is just no world that any of us will live in that in 20 years you'll look back and be like, that is still the most fashionable thing I've ever seen in my life. It might be classic, but classic and timeless are not the same thing. You may still like it, which I hope that you do. I hope that you look back and you like that choice. But I think to call like the whole to call a Basque wedding dress similar to a mason jar. I also want to point out that mason jars and burlap were children of the recession, okay? We were decorating our weddings within our means. We were decorating our weddings in a rustic fashion because that is what everybody could afford at that time. So we made it trendy. And I think that is at the core something that has been completely lost within wedding planning. Weddings are most often outside of our means, right? Because they are that expensive. Like the amount of desensitization that has happened within myself of sending people, like I'll get a quote for something and it's an obscene amount of money and I'll be like, actually that looks better than I thought. And so I am definitely, I am definitely one of the culprits here in perpetuating that myth that weddings are affordable, because they are not. I think that trending weddings are not affordable. I think that weddings that suit you are affordable. And I think that beautiful weddings are affordable, but I think you have to like make choices, right? And I think the Basque wedding dress is kind of the same thing. So we went through this honeymoon period where everybody is absolutely obsessed with this. So of course everybody has it. But then you're going to be told by the new generation coming in that it's the same as a mason jar and it's not cool anymore. And do not, if you like that Basque wedding dress, do not change your mind because a bunch of people are starting to say that it's like a mason jar. Because first of all, it's not, okay? I am not saying that I want mason jars and burlap to come back, okay? I hope it stays gone. It's not my favorite. If it comes back, will I style it for you with a smile? Absolutely. But I want you to know that whatever wedding dress you choose, Basque wedding dress, drop waist wedding dress, Art Deco, whatever you, princess, ball gown, whatever you do, choose what you like in this moment and do not feel pressured by the word timeless. Do not feel under the thumb of some nebulous idea that like children in 10 years are gonna look at your wedding dress and think it wasn't cool, because it is sort of a rite of passage, I think, as a young adult becoming an adult, to look at what people did before you and think that they did it wrong and you're going to do it better. And I think that happens all the time with weddings, right? And you don't even necessarily see that you are like bringing back a trend that was popular 30, 40, 50, whatever years ago, because you're focused on what you're doing in the moment. So please don't ever let anybody tell you that you chose the wrong thing, or that something that you chose is not going to be timeless, because that is a completely like false ideal to have. It is not going to be timeless. Anything that you choose will not be timeless, but it will be classic, and it will be a snapshot of where you were in the time of your life that you got married.